I'm going to make it very clear. And this goes to you, Senator Mark Kelly, and all you treasonous individuals that want to side with him and try to plant the seed of doubt into our military men's mind. If you try to undermine the power of the president, you should be arrested for treason. We do not need and cannot afford in this country people to undermine hundreds of years of tradition of our U.S. military taking orders from the executive branch, our president. It is treasonous, and the fact that these people are not brought to justice it shows me how weakened this government has gotten. We should never ever stand for undermining the military powers of the president. That should never happen.
My first reaction was, why did you put this video out? I know you're trying to poke at him. Of course you don't obey an illegal order. Of course there are standards and processes that our military has followed, not just for decades, but for centuries. That's a given. You're doing this just to create a political issue. And shame on you, because there are men and women who are serving in Japan, in Korea, all over the globe, in the Middle East, in other Asian countries. And this is Thanksgiving. And they're not home. And they're sacrificing for this country. And you're playing politics at this point?
My name's Chad Caton. I'm a veteran and a former United States Navy Seabee. I'm doing this video to call out the seditious six: Slotkin, Kelly, Goodlander, Crow, DeLuzio, and Hot Lips Houlihan. What a joke. How do you go out there as a congressman and tell people in the United States military to ignore unlawful orders from the President of the United States, putting that fear and that doubt in their head? As you went on to the Sunday shows this weekend, and when you were asked what unlawful orders has President Trump put out, you couldn't name one. All of you tout your military and intelligence careers as if it's some kind of flex. It's not. We don't trust the CIA people that are coming out here because your job is to play this game. And as for you, Mark Kelly, you're the biggest, most deceitful person I've ever seen. Your ideology towards the Democratic Party is so much more important than the oath you took as a former captain and NASA astronaut. Talk about a fall from grace. Veterans across this country are going to continue to speak out on you, the seditious six. You put fear and you gave our military full-time people out there that are in harm's way an opportunity to sit back and think, do I need to do this? When their job is the lethality and to protect this country. And they can't do that if they're second guessing themselves. We teach that in the military and boot camp. You follow orders or people die.
What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you guys pulling up today. Happy early Thanksgiving to you guys, man. I appreciate you guys, man. God bless each and every one of you guys. And shout out to the people that started this video off. I was in the car this morning. I'm riding with my son, my oldest, who is currently serving in the United States Navy. And I was asking him about this particular situation. And it actually made me feel good because he was like, Dad, we're not paying any attention to any of this. You know, honestly, you telling me about this is really the first that I've actually heard about it. So there's not a lot of rumblings in the inner meetings or conversations with the current day service members. This is more of a media thing. Those of us on the outside, you know, of the service, you know, as someone who is a veteran myself, those of us on the outside that are veterans, it's a lot of us stepping up and saying, nah, this ain't right. What those six individuals did, especially Mark Kelly, who, I mean, a disgrace to the Navy. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, former commander, former astronaut, but, you know, let's just talk about him being a commander in the United States Navy. Dude should be ashamed of himself, to be honest with you. Everybody knows that if you go through boot camp, you go through OCS, everybody knows the oath that they take to uphold the Constitution and to follow the orders of the commander in chief. And the thing is that when you are lowly, and I hate to say this, like this. But when you are a lowly E3 and below, more times than not, they're receiving orders. They're so green, they don't know what's lawful and what's unlawful. So when you put it out there that, hey, question everything. If you get an order, from a second class, first class chief, or wherever it comes from in the chain, question. We can't have that. We cannot have people in our United States military questioning every order out there. Now, yes, it does say you have an obligation not to follow unlawful orders. But when you have sitting members of Congress, sitting members of the Senate and the House jump out there and tell you, hey, these are my qualifications and you don't have to do this, they're not trying to help our nation. This is a power play. These people are playing games. And the thing is that if you get one person in the military that starts to question orders, it puts everybody in the unit, in the division, on the ship, in the command, in danger. We can't have this. Heads got to roll behind this, man. Seriously. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. A few more clips to get into, and we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate you guys, man.
Let me first just get your response to this threat from the Defense Department saying that they are investigating you. They may potentially recall you to active duty to face a court-martial.
Well, Rachel, I said something that was pretty simple and non-controversial, and that was that members of the military should follow the law.
Non-controversial. Y'all got out and y'all did a social media video that has gone viral that he knows and everybody else knows. If anybody from the Republican Party, from the GOP, did anything remotely close to this, it would be nonstop, wall-to-wall, 24-hour coverage for the next week or two. They know it. This isn't this is not something that you can just jump out there and say, oh, we didn't really mean it, or it's not as bad as we said it.
And in response to that, Donald Trump said, I should be executed. I should be hanged. I should be prosecuted. He even went on and said something about go get them. I guess sending a mob to round me and the other folks up. So this is, I think it says a lot more about him than it says about me. He doesn't want accountability. But, Rachel, I'm not going to be silenced. I'm not going to be intimidated.
This dude is full of sugar honey iced tea. They know what they did. They know what they said. And they know that they're wrong. And instead of coming out here and saying, you know what, we might have overstepped. Ain't no might about it. We overstepped the boundaries. We overstepped the lines. No, they double down. These people are ridiculous. They're not to be trusted.
Mr. Miller, what should happen to the seditious six?
Well, they should be held accountable under the law and under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for a seditious conspiracy against the United States of America. This is completely open and shut, straightforward. What is the motivation?
I got to ask you guys a question. Could you imagine if this would have happened 2 years ago? Name the Republicans, 2-3 Republicans from the Senate, 2-3 Republicans from the House. Could you imagine them getting out here and saying something like this 2 years ago when Biden was in office? Could you imagine that? What do you think would happen?
Why would 6 members of Congress, selecting specifically for individuals with a CIA or military background, record a carefully written, carefully produced, slickly edited video messaging directly to members of our clandestine services and our armed forces, telling them to disobey orders from their superiors, telling them that they should individually determine whether an order is legal or illegal and defy it. Individuals who are exercising life and death power. The CIA engages in covert missions all over the world involving life and death decisions. The armed forces launches life-taking missions time and time again. They carry weapons. They control drones. They control missiles. They work on nuclear submarines. For what purpose would you ever deliver this message? As you said, it's to create a color revolution. It is the CIA playbook for trying to foment insurrection from within the military and within the CIA. Look, we saw after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Jesse, members of the armed forces openly celebrating his murder. So think about that for a second. You have people in the armed forces, and it can be a tiny, tiny percentage, but who celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and then now they're getting a message from Kelly and from other members of Congress saying, defy your commanders. Rise up and defy your superiors. That kind of language will get people killed. It endangers our national security.
He's absolutely right. It definitely endangers national security. That is the kind of rhetoric, that's the kind of language that will get a lot of people hurt.
It is dangerously radicalizing, and it has all of the evidence of willfulness and intent. And when they go on TV and they say, well, we can't name what order is illegal, that proves the point. It was never about the law. It was breaking down the chain of command. The Democrat Party is openly engaged every day in trying to tear down democracy, whether it be judges who are binding the president with unlawful orders, releasing violent criminals back onto the street, trying to cement and protect the illegal alien invasion of America, and now fomenting rebellion inside of the ranks of our armed forces and CIA.
Man, Stephen Miller's spot on. Spot on. If you disagree with anything that he said, let me know in the comment section.
Give us your take on it. Are you a maximalist? Do you want to go full court martial proceedings after Mark Kelly? Are you advising a more reserved approach?
Are you a squish like me?
Blake is saying let's not make him a victim. Let's not make him a future presidential candidate here, if that's possible.
What Senator Mark Kelly is doing here by wink, wink, nod, nod to 18-year-old military enlistees to decide what orders of the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, are lawful versus unlawful, and then to ignore what these 18-year-old enlistees think are unlawful orders of the President of the United States. You cannot get more dangerous than this. That is interfering with the chain of commands. Mark Kelly is trying to portray himself as some noble hero. He's trying to portray himself as some victim when he got called out on it. He should absolutely get court-martialed and held accountable for this. And he can raise his congressional speech or debate clause arguments for his defense, whatever he needs to do, but they need to make an example out of this guy. There's no chance this guy's going to be the president of the United States. He's a clown. And
yeah, he's definitely a clown. He would never get my vote. And anybody that is telling the United States military to disobey the commander-in-chief, right then and there, you just basically disqualified yourself, honestly, not only for becoming president, but for the role that he's currently in. I think that dude needs to be ousted. He's got to go. What are your thoughts?
Interviews with the Democratic lawmakers who said to the military, if there is an illegal order, don't follow it. Aren't folks in the military not supposed to follow illegal orders?
So this is an issue where obviously you're going to have two groups of people that see this completely differently. I mean, when I saw that video, I was outraged for the president because it's obvious what the Democrats were trying to do. They were trying to create a narrative that the president had, in fact, given illegal orders. Nobody's yet named an illegal order. All the people in the video went on TV and got asked, what are the illegal orders? None of them can name an illegal order. Alessa Slotkin, who's supposed to be the moderate and the smart person in that group, said, well, you know, we have this movie, A Few Good Men. I mean, it was so unserious, but the point was clear. They're trying to program their political party, half the country, into believing that the president has given an illegal order, which has not happened. And so he's outraged. Every Republican that I know is outraged. The legalities of this, the investigatory part of this, I'm less sure about. But I'll tell you this, it's not good to treat the military like pawns. These Democrats shut down the government 43 days and didn't pay them. And now they're out here using them in this illegal order video, which is obviously political. I think some people, you know, in our coalition are thinking, they keep treating the military like pawns. It's very disrespectful to treat the military this way.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. You do not play around with the military. But then again, the same people that call the current administration fascist, they call President Trump fascist, a Hitler, they are doing everything that they're calling the president. Everything that they say this current administration is exactly what they're doing. I mean, goodness gracious, man. My hopes is that the American people wake up and they see it and they say, hey, man, these people, they're not to be trusted. These people aren't folks that actually care about the country. They don't care about the American citizens. They don't care about their constituents. They only care about power, and they will do anything to amass said power. You can see them. They're grasping for straws. They're getting more and more desperate, and they're getting more and more radical by the day. We need to be vigilant, and we need to keep our head on a swivel.
You think the whole thing is contrived. I'm disappointed with Senator Kelly. I think that he made a huge mistake by getting involved with this ridiculous charade. You don't, if you're a responsible legislator, you don't make things up. So if you don't have an illegal order, then why are you talking about an illegal order? For what? What is the reason? There's only one: to embarrass Trump, to whip up hatred against Trump. That's why they did it. Of course.
That's it. The TDS is on 1,000.
I guess they didn't have anything else to do on Monday. I don't know. But why would Kelly, who has a distinguished record both in the military and in Congress, why would he be part of it? What's the upside? And then when all hell breaks loose, you weren't expecting that backlash?
Yeah, these people are, they're not smart. How did they not think that the smoke was coming when they did what they did? How did they not think it? Seriously. When you have 6 sitting members of Congress, both in the House and in the Senate, jump out there and say what they said, how did they not think that there would be smoke behind this? These people are a full-fledged threat to the Republic. I've already said it. We've been talking about it on this channel for quite some time. We ain't got to worry about, the enemy storming the beaches on the east or the west coast or coming up through the southern or northern border. No, they're already here. They're in Congress. They're in the House. They're in the Senate. They're in multiple positions and places, all around the country. The barrier to entry to be a mayor, the barrier to entry to be a part, of our system has been lessened and lowered like it's nobody's business. And we have some of the most treasonous individuals sitting in positions of power that are supposed to be there working for their constituents who actually could care less about their constituents. It's frustrating. It's upsetting. But at the same time, I'm a firm believer that when people show you who they are, you should believe them. And we should take these people seriously. And I think that all 6 of these individuals, especially Mark Kelly, they should be held accountable. They should be they should be tried, and they should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Whatever we can do, it should be done. And we can't allow this to just die down. We got to let people know, and we got to continue to inform people and remind people, especially as we go into 2026 and especially as we go into the fall to the midterms of next year, that the Democrat Party want to destroy the Republic, and they're willing to do anything to do it. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you guys, man. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
We won't stop. I won't quit. Stand for the truth. No counterfeit. Real ones rise. Let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies. Let the